Hello, welcome to this seated and supine session of yoga. So supine just means we'll be on our back for part of the time and we'll be seated for the other part of the time. Actually, we'll be seated first and supine last. So we're going to be completely on the mat. There's no flow here. So just really relax and feel free to sink deep into your practice. So just a few things, props that you may need for this practice. So a couple folded blankets, 3 if you want to sit on one as well. Maybe a yoga block here and a yoga strap or a belt. And that being said, let's get started. So finding that nice comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Good. And I'm thinking about a nice tall spine, ears, shoulders, and hips in this alignment. I'm drawing up from pubic bone to behind the navel or belly button into the spine. I'm going to take a slight tuck in the chin here. I'm going to carefully come into my practice. So as you sit here nice and tall, turn inward a little bit and notice if there's anywhere that you could soften just a little bit more. So is that softening through the face, the shoulders, the hips? Sometimes we carry tension in the jaw or the belly and we don't always realize that. And then from here, bring that attention and awareness to your breath. So is that breath calm, smooth, anxious, rapid, choppy? Do you have expansion in the rib cage when you inhale? Do you breathe with the shoulders or the belly? Do you breathe in and out through the nose, through the mouth, or a combination? Good. And then from here, when you're ready, take a big inhale through the nose and expand that rib cage. Finding length from crown to tail again, and slowly exhaling it out. We'll take that again. Big inhale and expand. And slowly release. Again, big inhale and expand. And exhale and release. Good. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 reach. Arms overhead, touching hands together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Creating an intention for your practice. What would you like to give or receive? Maybe you'd like to dedicate this practice to someone or something. So this week, as I've been teaching my classes, reconnection, reconnecting has been my theme or intention, and you're welcome to use that or bring in your own. And once you have that set, we'll inhale, take it up overhead, turning palms away, grow taller from crown to tail. Good. From here, I'm going to lift my right arm up, reach, 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 and exhale. I'm going to take a nice little side bend over towards the left. So I'm really reaching through that right side. I'm breathing and expanding. Gaze is where it needs to be. Good. Inhale. Exhale. We'll come back to center. Try to use your obliques, your side abs. Inhale. Exhale and come down. Left arm comes up. Inhale. Exhale. Take a side bend to the right. Really reach to that left side. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back up. Big inhale when we reach. Exhale. We're going to come back to the left. This time, choose your path. Do you stay here? Do you come out? Do you side bend a little bit more? Do you choose to open towards the ceiling? Or do you choose a C curve roll? Forehead in the direction of that knee, but not touching. And wherever you chose to go here, find expansion in that rib cage. And when you're ready, inhale and lengthen. Exhale, coming back up. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale. Exhale, take it back over to the right. And then you choose. Are you staying here? Are you going to come out? Do you side bend deeper? Do you open towards the ceiling? Or do you take that C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knee but not touching? Good. And when you're ready, inhale and lengthen. Exhale, engage and coming up. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Gentle twist to the left. Coming over, taking arms down. Rolling shoulders back, maybe looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand through the rib cage. So that's just a general rule to keep in mind. Anytime you come into a twist, if you cannot expand the rib cage, you're too deep into your twist. We also don't want to crank through the low back here. And from here, inhale and lift. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, take that towards the right. Rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. And when you're ready, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, come down, and we'll take those arms down. Good. From here, we're going to come into a little bit of cat-cows before we go into our first seated posture. So, and we're going to do this seated. So, kind of, if your legs are out here, see if you can somewhat crisscross applesauce or do the best you can. What we're going to do, I'm going to use my hands on my knees as a little bit of leverage here. So I'm going to keep my arms long. Now in the beginning, especially if you're newer or more of a beginner and you need to bend those elbows, that's fine. But as you progress, think about just moving through the spine and keeping your arms long. Good. So from here, I'm zipping up. I'm nice and tall. Good. As I come forward, I'm going to shine my heart forward, maybe look up where the ceiling and the wall meet, and then I'm going to round. Good. And coming up and coming back. Good. So a side view of this so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. Good. So here's my cow and my cat and my cow and my cat. And we're just going back and forth here. Good. Moving with the breath. Good. And while we're here, let's go into a spinal roll. So I'll show this to you since I'm here from the side view. So I'm just going to kind of take that around. Your elbows will probably bend a little bit here. That's okay. So I'm just rolling the spine in one direction. Good. And then in the other. Good. And then from here, we're just going to get a little bit of an upper body stretch here too that just kind of came to my head. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing. It just feels good to the shoulders. So we'll take the arms out to the side. We'll just find a little rotation. And then from here, palms up, hands to the shoulders, and just move forward and back. Good. Try to separate the shoulder blades when you take your elbows forward and try to kind of really touch them together when you come back. But keep the rib cage in. So we're not taking it forward or rounding it like we did before. Good. You can stay with this motion if this feels good to you, or just take that into some nice circles. Oh, feels so good, especially with cooler temperatures when I tend to be a little bit tighter in my joints here. I'm just going to take that in the opposite direction. Good. Okay. From here, we're going to go into half straddle pose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left leg out. Good. I'm going to bring my right foot in. Good. So I don't have this leg out too wide. So to kind of give you perspective, if I were taking this leg out to my widest, it would look out like this. It would be almost directly out to the side of my body. I don't want to be that wide. So I'm just going to come in at an angle. Good. From here, we're going to fold forward. So I'm going to recommend that you come into a little bit of an anterior tilt of the pelvis. So that just means that the tailbone comes back and the hip bones rock forward a little bit. So from here, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, we're going to hinge with length from the hips. And when you can come no more forward, take your hands down. Good, and we'll breathe into that back body. You know, some people have some really tight hamstrings here. So if that's you, you're feeling it a lot on this left side. Remember, you want to keep a little bend in the knee. We don't want to be locked or super extended. You can always put props. I think a rolled up hand towel is the best to put there. And we're breathing and expanding, and your body will let you know when it's safe for you to sink in a little bit deeper. And when you do that, you want to do that on an exhale. And you still want to keep the length here. And then from here, when we're ready, inhale, look forward. Exhale, we'll walk that back up. Good. We're going to take a side bend from here. So from here, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, side bends are actually going to be two different ways. So you can kind of come over and just be here, or you can just side bend, reaching for yogi toe. And as I'm doing that, I'm reaching through that opposite side. Breathe and expand. Oh, there we go. Now my right side's opening up. Inhale, exhale. We'll take that back to center. We're going to take this into the opposite direction now. So now I'm just going to switch out my legs. So we'll do that in the way that's best for you. Good. So I'm taking my right leg out now. My left foot's coming in. Find an anterior tilt of that pelvis if you lost it. And again, we don't want the leg to be out as wide as possible. And a nice little angle. So from here, we're going to fold forward first. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. You know, finding the length. And breathing and expanding. And you want both sits bones here to also be anchored. So sometimes when we fold forward like this opposite hip wants to come up a little bit. I'm saying that because I just caught that in myself. So if it's happening to me, it's probably happening to somebody else. And then again, your body will let you know when it's safe to fold in deeper. Good. Reconnect to the breath. Reconnect to your practice. And then from here, when you're ready, inhale, exhale. We'll walk that back up. Good. We're going to take this into the side bend now. So remember your options. You can take it just right here, gentle side bend, or you can reach towards that yogi toe. So from here, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, find yours. Good. Reaching through that left side. Good. So remember, left hip stays grounded. Now there's the opening. So when I say opening, that just means that my body is just kind of allowing that relaxation in. So it's no longer kind of tightening up here. It's just kind of releasing and releasing and releasing. And inhale, exhale, and we'll come back up. Good. From here, we're going to come to the full straddle now. So I'm going to take both legs out. I'm going to make sure, again, I'm in that anterior tilt of the pelvis. So the tailbone comes back, hip bones rock forward. So again, this is one of those places, if you're really tighter in the hamstrings and you need to keep a bend in the knee, but you don't want to think about that, you can put some hand towels or some kind of cushioning under your knees to keep them bent for you. So I'm going to take my feet into flexion. So hips, knees, and toes are facing towards the ceiling. Toes are facing towards my shoulders. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Good. Now I'm lengthening here as I fold. And after a breath or two, your body will let you know where you want to go. It's almost instinctual in some ways. So that's going to tell you to stay where you are. It might tell you it's okay to fold deeper. It might tell you to reach for your shins, your ankles, your feet, or yogi toe, depending on where you are. And inhale and exhale. We'll walk that back up. Good. From here, we're going to come into the Janu Sirsasana. So I'm just going to bring my knees in here. Good. I'm going to come back with taking my left leg long, and I'm going to bring my right foot in. Good. And let me actually show you this a little bit better from an angle. Good. So my left leg is long, my right foot is in. Good. I'm in that anterior tilt again. So this is another forward fold. Remember, we're finding length here. Now, something else. We've got a strap today. We've also got a block today. So those of you that know that when you forward fold, you cannot reach your foot, but you want that connection. You can take your strap. Now I've got my extra long strap out here today, so I'm actually going to fold it in half. You can take your strap around that foot, and then as you fold here, you've got that connection. Careful not to make a death grip or death fold. Those of us that know you can reach well beyond your feet and you want something a little bit more, you can take your block any length outside of that foot, and that can be your new connection. And that's actually what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take my block right to the outside of my foot here. Good. And then from here, I'm going to take a big inhale. I'm going to reach. I'm going to lengthen. I'm zipped up through that pelvic floor, and I'm going to hinge forward. And once I can hinge forward with that long spine, then I'll take my hands down. So this is where you're going to grip a strap, a body part here, a block. Actually, I'm probably a little bit better here. Good. And as I'm here, I'm going to breathe and expand into the rib cage and the back body. Think about head and neck being an extension of the spine. So there's nothing really on the chest that the chin needs to touch. There's nothing kind of in front of you that you need to kind of look up at. Think about taking your gaze right to the shin. Good. Inhale, look forward. Exhale. You're going to carefully come out of there. We're going to go into a little bit of a twist here. So from here, I'm going to come up and I'm going to take my twist to my left, and I'm just going to take my arms down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind me. I'm breathing and expanding into that rib cage. Good. Inhale and exhale, coming back. We're going to change sides. So from here, good. I'm just going to take my right leg long now. I'm going to bring my left foot in. So same as before, bring any props in here that you would like. I'm going to have my block handy. Good. Finding anterior tilt if you lost it. Nice and tall. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge and fold. Long spine. When you can come no more, hands come down. Bring in any connection here that you need. Again, gazes to the shin. Breathe and expand through that rib cage. Reconnect to the breath. Reconnect to your body. Light grips, no death grips. Get an inhale, look forward. Exhale, carefully come out of there. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, take that gentle twist now to the right. Rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll come back to center. We're going to go into the cobbler's pose now, or Baddha Konasana, as it's sometimes called. So I actually kind of like this little angle here, so I'm going to stay here. Now, I'm sitting on a blanket, but I'm going to show you, those of us with tight hips, something that you can do to support your knees in this position. So cobbler's pose, we take the soles of the feet together. Now you can see I'm pretty open in my hips because my knees are almost to the ground. A lot of people are really tight, so their knees are kind of jacked up a little bit here. So what I recommend doing is taking a folded blanket, and I'm going to fold it this way. And then I'm going to have a softer support than sometimes what blocks allow us for. And you can just put that right under there. So now you're supported on one side. You want to be supported on both sides so you're nice and even. Good. And so now you've got the support. So when you fold forward, then you don't have risky floating joints up here. They're nice and supported. So just an option for you. This actually feels really nice to me, even though I don't really need them. So I'm just going to keep them. So from here, I'm going to take a nice big tall spine, big inhale. Exhale, I'm going to hinge forward. Again, I'm keeping length. And I'm breathing and expanding to the rib cage. Once again, head and neck are an extension of the spine. Good. And so those of you that are using this for more support, a little bit less restorative, just know as you become more open in the hips, you don't have to use the props anymore. Unless you're like me at the time of this recording, it just feels good to you and you just want to use them. Then exhale, come back up. Good. I'm just going to gently guide my knees back in. I'm going to take my legs long here, and I'm going to move my blankets out of the way. Good. I'm going to move my strap out of the way, but I'm going to keep it close. So now we're going to come onto our back. So we're going to go supine here. I'm just going to move my block out of the way here too. So from here, I am going to carefully come down. When I get there, I'm going to take my knees into my chest, and I'm going to rock, rock, rock side to side just for a moment. And taking the hands to the knees, maybe going in one little direction here, and then in the other. Good. So we're getting ready to set up for 3 bridges. The first one that we're going to do here is a basic bridge. And just know that this bridge is accessible to you as your second and third bridge as well. So I'm just going to roll my shoulders back a little bit. And when I come down here, I'm just going to kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So I want my tailbone to be grounded and comfortable. I want to feel the natural curvature of the low back. And maybe from here, my low rib cage is connected. And maybe a little bit more wider relaxation through the collarbone. So hips, knees, and toes are going to track here. My heels are not too close into the glutes, but they're not too far away. And then from here, big inhale, pressing evenly into both feet. I'm going to press up, lifting the hips to the ceiling. Your body will let you know when you should not come up any higher here. And I'm breathing and expanding. I'm trying to keep knees and hips in alignment, so I don't want my knees to fall in. I don't want my knees to fall out. And then from here, from the mid back, I'm just going to roll down, if it's accessible to you, bone by bone, just like you're lowering down a string of pearls. And maybe you can find a little bit more length with each vertebrae that you lower. Good. Now, if you need to take your knees into your chest between each one of these, please do so. Otherwise, we're going to go into number 2. So if number 1 is all you need to do today, maybe this is your first yoga practice, stay with that. Those of you that want to move on to a different one, we're going to take the hand clasp underneath. So I'll show this to you 2 ways. So I'm going to pick up into my bridge. I'm going to roll my shoulders under, clasping my hands, and then I'm reaching my hands towards my heels. Now, that's really hard for me to do at the moment because I've got some carpal tunnel symptoms going on here. So to make that more comfortable and accessible, I'm going to take my strap here, my strap that got all tangled up. Good. So I'm going to take my strap because I'm extra long. I have a shorter one. I just can't find it at the moment. It has been misplaced. Good. So I've got my strap. I'm going to take it underneath. Good. So now I'm rolling my shoulders back. Hips, knees, and toes are tracking. I've got a hand on each one side of my strap. I'm going to lift up into my bridge. I'm going to walk my hands together, maybe rolling my shoulders back just a little bit more. And I'm reaching that strap towards my heels. Now I can open up into that nice shoulder opener, heart opener that I'm looking for. So if you don't need the strap, you don't have to use it. It's just an option. I like it. I think it makes it more accessible to a lot of people. This is also a nice one to do if you've got tighter shoulders as well, and the hand clasp isn't always the best thing for you. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll carefully lower down out of there. You can take the knees into your chest here if you need to. Good. Bridge number 3. You can do that basic hip lift. You can do that opener that we just did, or maybe you want a different kind of bridge. So maybe you can take the heels in closer to the glutes here, looking for the ankle bind bridge, which I can't really do. But again, guess what? You can make that more accessible, taking that strap around the ankles and lifting up into that bridge. So that's an option. Maybe a full back bend is in your practice. Maybe you want a little bit more restoration. So maybe we bring in a block. We'll do the ranch house or the townhouse setting. I don't recommend this one. Why I like this one and this way is because then you've got space for both hip bones and the tailbone to be supported. This just really only supports the tailbone, and it might feel good in the moment, but later on it probably won't. So that's the one that I'm going to choose here. So I'm just going to place that block underneath my tailbone. Come into your chosen third bridge here. And I'm just going to breathe. Now, if you don't have a block, again, those folded blankets that we use for Baddha Konasana, that same kind of fold in your blanket, you can also put under your tailbone if you want a little bit of lift, but something softer. And then from here, when you're ready, I'm going to press into my feet. I'm going to lift my hips, remove any props out from underneath there if you used any, and I'm going to come down. I'm going to take my knees into my chest and rock, rock, rock side to side. Good. So never missing an opportunity here for a little bit of ab work. We're going to come into some yogic bicycles. I'll show this to you from 2 ways. So again, you can be completely on the ground here. We'll start with the knees and tabletop, knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. I've got thinking about a neutral spine. So my tailbone is heavy and connected. I've got my natural curvature of the low back. My low rib cage is connected and I'm zipped up. My belly button is in. And then I'm just going to pretend like I'm riding a bicycle. Now, the lower you take your legs, the longer you reach, the more challenging you make this. The higher you take it, the easier you make it, at least on the abs and the low back. Those of you that are a little bit more advanced, you can take your block, again, ranch house or townhouse setting. This will give you a little bit more range of motion in which to work with. So this is just an option. Good. Let's take this for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse pedal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll bring those feet down. Lift that block out from underneath. If you use that, knees will come back into the chest and we'll rock, rock, rock side to side. Good. We're going to take this into a figure 4 here. So my knees are back down. I'm going to take my right ankle over the left knee. For some of us, this might be the extent of where your figure 4 goes today. You can also, not on the knee joint, but on the thigh, lightly press in. Those of you that are safe to go a little bit deeper, you can bring that into the chest and maybe carefully rock, rock side to side. Good. And we're coming back to the breath. We're reconnecting to the body, reconnecting to the breath, reconnecting to that intention. Good. From here, when you're ready, we'll take that down, carefully undo. We're going to take that to the other side. So now my left ankle is going to cross over the right knee. You can stay right here. You can lightly press into that thigh. Maybe you want to take that in towards the chest. You choose. So I like to rock back and forth here. Not everyone does, so that's always an option as well. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we're going to take that down and carefully undo. Let's go into a slight little psoas opener here. So I'm going to take my feet as wide as my mat. I'm going to take my arms out to the side. So I'm zipped up because your body's also going to go into a little bit of rotation here. So we always want nice belly button into the spine. I'm going to let my knees fall towards my right. Now, when I fall to the right, my left hip's going to come up a little bit. I want to press the inner arch, the inner foot of that left foot into my mat a little bit. That should make the left knee a little bit more comfortable. So from here then, if you are not comfortable in the left knee, left hip, left low back, or anywhere else, carefully come out. You don't want to stay here. If everything feels okay, you have more options. You can choose to stay, or you can pick up that right ankle, put it on top of the left thigh. You want it on top of the thigh, not the knee joint, and then let that relax down. And again, as long as all of your joints feel okay, you can stay. If not, any kind of funny business, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, carefully back off or come out completely. And when you're ready, we're going to carefully come out of there. Come back center, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle center. Good. And then we'll take that to the other side. So knees are going to fall over towards the left now. Good. Your right hip's going to come up a little bit. I'm pressing into that inner part of my right foot. And then you decide, is this good for you to be here? If it is, you can stay. If not, please come out. If it's good for you to stay here, you can choose to stay, or you can pick up that left ankle, place it on top of that right thigh, and just let that relax down. Again, we don't want pain, numbness, tingling, burning, any funny business at all. And if you feel that, we'll want to back off. And when you're ready, we'll carefully undo, and we'll come back to center. Give yourself a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, we're going to come into half happy baby or half happy adult. So for this one, the left knee can stay bent, or if you're okay in the low back, you can take that left leg long. So decide where you need to be here. I'm going to keep my left knee a little bit bent. Good. So what I'm going to do here for half happy baby, I'm bringing in my right knee, and I'm going to kind of turn it out a little bit to the side, a little bit of an external rotation. And then you can choose to grab onto the outside of the foot, the inside of the foot, the yogi toe. You can bring your strap in here and do the same thing. So I'm kind of giving a gentle tug towards the floor. And maybe this is too much. So maybe we need happy adult instead. So happy adult, we're just going to let that knee bend. I'm just holding at the shin. And that's all there is to it. And I'm breathing, I'm expanding the rib cage, I'm lengthening a little bit more from crown to tail. Good, releasing here. Good, bringing that knee back more in line with your shoulder. So we're gonna go into twist number one, or at least supine twist number one, or I guess technically number two. That psoas opener was technically a twist. So I'm gonna take my left leg long here. I'm gonna take my left hand on the outside of this right leg, and then I'm gonna rotate and take it over to the left. Now, if this foot, this leg, and the little dangle here does not feel good to you, bring one of your folded blankets in or your block and put under there so you have some support. Breathe and expand. And when you're ready, carefully guide yourself back to center. Good. And I'm going to take my right leg long just for a moment. Good. Now, I'm going to bring that bend back into my right knee. You can keep it long if you want to. We're going to take the half happy baby or half happy adult to the other side. So I'm bringing it in. Good. And maybe I needed happy adult on the other side, but this side is a little bit more open. So I'm going to come to half happy baby here. So be where you need to be. Is it inside, outside grip, yogi toe? Do you need a strap here? Do you need happy adult, which is right here, grabbing the shin? Wherever you go, can you find a little bit of length from crown to tail? Breathe and expand that rib cage. Relax through the face. Soften through those hips. Reconnect. And when you're ready, you'll carefully release. Good. I'm going to bring that knee back more in line with my shoulder. I'm going to take my right leg long here. Right hand on the outside of that left thigh. Left arm out to the left. And I'm going to rotate over. Good. So again, if you need support, then support yourself. If you don't need support, then no worries. Breathe and expand the rib cage. Remember, belly button is in tight. You're in rotation. And when you're ready, we're going to carefully guide ourselves back into center. Good. And then I'm just going to kind of put a bend back in my right leg. I'm just going to take that left leg long. Okay. So now we're going to move into our final sequence here. So I'm going to grab my strap. So we're going to stretch and we're going to open up and we'll come into a final twist as well. So I'm going to take my strap around the center part of my right foot. Your left knee again can be bent or extended long and strong. Now this series that I'm showing you here with the strap is a great one to do at night before you go to bed. You can do it in your bed. You can do it with a belt like you wear with your pants. It doesn't have to be a fancy yoga strap per se. So you don't even have to get on the floor to do this one, but it is amazing. So from here, find a grip that suits you. Let everything settle down into its socket. And with a softer knee, a non-locked knee, we're going to bring that in towards the face. Now, some people, this is their long leg, and that's okay. You operate where you need to operate. I'm still finding some length from crown to tail here. And when you're ready, we'll release. I'm going to take both straps into my right hand. Good. I want both hips, both shoulders to stay on the ground. And I'm going to take my right leg out to the right. Now, as you do this, if that left hip starts to pop up and you cannot keep it grounded, then your right leg is too far out to the right and you need to bring it back up a little bit until you can ground that hip. Those of you that are wanting something a little special here, give a gentle tug towards the shoulder. Breathe and expand. Reconnect. And when you're ready, we'll bring that leg back up towards center. I'm going to extend my left leg now. I'm going to take both straps into my left hand. Now, some people can take this leg straight over. Some people need to take it a little bit farther away or a little bit closer into the face to find your sweet spot. So be mindful that that's okay to kind of move things around and figure it out. But I'm going to take my right arm out to the side. Good. Some of you are going to arc this leg over at 45 degrees with the long leg. Some of you might do it with a bent knee. Some of you are going to take this leg all the way over into a twist. But if you're doing that, we want to keep your leg and hip in that same plane. We don't want the foot to flop willy-nilly on the floor. We want to protect our nice joints in the low back here, the SI joints in particular. So if you, again, need to prop that leg up to hold it there, perfectly fine. One of my favorite series. And when you're ready, we'll bring that back up. Good. We're going to do a midair switcheroo here as we go to the other side. So I'm just going to switch out my left foot or my right foot with my left foot. Good. So you can have a bend in that right leg, or you can extend that right leg long, completely up to you and how you feel. Find a grip that's appropriate for you. Remember, soft knee. And when you're ready, inhale, exhale, we'll take that in towards the face. I'm breathing and expanding. I'm finding length from crown to tail. And when you're ready, we'll carefully release. I'm going to take both straps into the left hand. Good. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to let that left leg come out to the left. Remember, I want my right hip to be anchored. So if that hip starts to pop up and I can't keep it anchored, I need to take my left leg up a little bit more. And then those of you that want something special, do a tug in towards that shoulder. Breathe and expand. And inhale, exhale, we'll come back up. Good. We're going to switch our hands here. I'm going to take my right leg long. So again, you might need to move around to find your sweet spot, but whenever you're ready, inhale, exhale, long leg or a bend in the knee, arc over 45 degrees. You can stay there, or you can take that leg all the way over, keeping leg in line with the hip, propping it up if you need to. Breathe and expand. Relax the face. And whenever you're ready, we'll carefully bring that leg back up. Good. We'll remove that strap. Take that out of our space here. Good. Bring the knees into the chest and rock, rock, rock. Good. We're going to set up for our short Savasana from here. But those of you that are watching from home know that you can always press pause and take as long of a Shavasana as you would like. Good. So from here, I'm just kind of bringing in a little bit of a neck cushion. Good. And then you can take everything long and let it flop open. If you have a back that behaves a lot like mine, maybe it doesn't want to lie flat on a hard surface. So maybe putting a bend in the knees is a better option. You can also bring a bolster cushion or a pillow under the thighs here or under the knees for a little bit more relaxation. You can be on your side, you can be on your belly as well. But from here, I'm just going to kind of wiggle and settle in. See if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. And then I will leave you here for a few moments to reconnect, dropping into the space. And I'll call you back in a little bit. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness or maybe bringing knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body lowered or maybe lifted into a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way you may have used for your Savasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes, full body stretch, point and flex through the feet. Bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Taking a moment here to pause if you need to. And whenever you're ready, pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe the one you started with, or maybe a different one. I'm going to bring my blanket back in here. Good. I'm finding my nice tall seat. One more time. Good. Fingertips to the side. Notice how you feel now versus when we started. Palms towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Touching palms together. Exhale, hands back into heart center. Reconnecting with that intention that you made at the beginning of class. One more time. Reconnection or your own. And from here, we'll take our thumbs to our forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you have a wonderful day, evening, week, or month ahead. Namaste.